Hello everyone, Election Watch Analysis here, and welcome to another 2024 election prediction, this time between incumbent President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump. As of now, this does seem like the most likely scenario, as Donald Trump is pretty likely to run so far, and Joe Biden has stated he will run, though this may not be for sure, as he wouldn't want to be a lame duck president with no political power before the midterms. But as of now, this is the most likely matchup. Currently, Donald Trump's unfavorability has actually improved, going from pretty high for unfavorable in February, and now at 13% in February still. So it's about a year so far. Meanwhile, Joe Biden has a pretty bad approval rating, as you can see in a second. Sorry for the slow internet. As you can see, Joe Biden's approval rating is not good at all, about minus 11%. It started off pretty high and eventually crossed into the disapprove territory. And what will really hurt Biden is the fact that many Americans voted for him because he wasn't Donald Trump. And now that Joe Biden is in office, imagine if you're a suburban voter. Maybe you voted for a big Bush fan back in the 2000s, maybe decided to vote for Obama very narrowly. You're a big fan of Mitt Romney, and then likely either were dissatisfied with Trump, didn't vote for him, voted third party, stayed home, or maybe narrowly voted for him. And then you decide that Donald Trump wasn't good for you, and you voted for Joe Biden. Then you vote for Joe Biden, and you are very disapproved of the way he's handling America. You may decide to go back to Donald Trump or another Republican. Now, let's stop with the prelude and get right into the video. So, I'll list all of Donald Trump's safe states. Of course, many of the plain states will be safe. I think some states that were previously trending left would trend a little bit, or at least shift back to the right, like Kansas, and a neutral environment or one that Joe Biden is doing well in would probably be likely, but I think it won't be this time. South Carolina was very narrowly likely in 2020. As you can see, it was around 11.7%. My cusp is 12%, so it would likely shift back over. Iowa is shifting very heavily to the right, and I think it will be safe, along with Alaska, and I think Ohio I'm not going to put in the safe margin, but it'd be pretty close. Joe Biden, I think the Pacific Coast would all be safe. Oregon would be very, very close, nearly likely. I think most of the Northeast would also be safe. Delaware would probably wouldn't be usually, except for the fact that Joe Biden has a very strong home state appeal there. I think some areas that would get very interestingly close would be Illinois and Maine's 1st District. I'm considering putting New Jersey and Connecticut in the likely column, given that they were really close in 2016. I think I'd put Connecticut. I actually think I'd put New Jersey, given how close the governor's race was and the ability for it to swing so fast. So both these states I think will be in the likely column. And now we get into likely states. So for Donald Trump, Ohio, I think Texas will be over the likely margin, and Maine's 2nd District. Florida would be very close into the likely margin, but I think overall it'd be pretty narrow. But I could definitely see it going about 5% plus. For Joe Biden, I think that Colorado and Virginia would all be likely. However, I'll give this one note. All of these states would be pretty close. So Virginia and Colorado could definitely see going into the higher likely margins, like around 6 to 10%. New Mexico might be around 5%. I could see it being in the higher lean territory, around 5 to 6%. It definitely is trending to the right overall. I think a lot of the traditional Democratic voters in the state are ones that are more susceptible to Republican beliefs, so that it might become closer in the future. Now, let's head into the toss-up states. Currently, Joe Biden is at 209 and Donald Trump 189 electoral votes each. So we'll start off with some of the lean states. I think Minnesota, Maine at large, and New Hampshire will be lean. These states that voted pretty heavily for Joe Biden. They were all likely in 2020, along with Nebraska's 2nd District. However, I think due to Joe Biden's unpopularity, they would be lean and not they'd fall down to the lean margin. However, Donald Trump being a very unpopular candidate in these areas would prevent them from being close or Republican, as in Trump, winning them. Meanwhile, Donald Trump would win North Carolina and Florida by a pretty big margin. I also think he'd win Wisconsin by a lean margin. And this is one of my, I think it's maybe a hot take. I think it's pretty well stated, but the reasons why is that Donald Trump has a lot of room to grow in Wisconsin. I believe he and Joe Biden both gained votes for their party compared to 2016. But Joe, as you can see here, look at all these rural areas. They're all about 50 to 60% for Trump. Meanwhile, look to maybe Iowa, for example. It's still decently close, and this is the reason why Iowa was trending to the right. But a better example would be Pennsylvania. So you look to these working class areas around Pittsburgh. They're all around 60 to 70% for Trump. All of those areas in Wisconsin I just showed, the driftless area, very working class, very pro-Trump areas. They're going to be shifting to the right in coming years, and that might push Wisconsin into the lean margin for an unpopular candidate like Joe Biden and a good candidate like Donald Trump. And now we head into states that I all consider to be tilt. These are going to be some pretty close states overall. We'll start off with Nevada, because that state has been the subject of a lot of discussion if it's trending to the right or not. So Nevada is a very inelastic state. Even in an environment that was very good for Democrats, it voted pretty much the exact same in 2016 and 2020. I believe Joe Biden probably gained votes. Yeah, he got about 3% more of the vote than Hillary Clinton did. Around 2% actually. But the interesting thing here is that Nevada really should not have been as close. Joe Biden may not have campaigned there a ton, but if you look at the shift in 2016, Clark County actually voted more Republican. And that doesn't make a lot of sense. Consider this. 2020 was a D+3 or about D+4 year overall. It really shouldn't have been that close. Democrats were winning Nevada by around 5% in the midterms. Donald Trump was not very popular there. Joe Biden gained in Washoe County, which was home of Reno. However, he lost in Las Vegas due to Hispanic shifting to the right. And I think this could continue, and if Joe Biden remains so unpopular, I think Donald Trump will flip the state. Along with Arizona, very narrow margin in 2020. Like I said earlier, if you're a suburban voter who voted for Joe Biden, going out on a limb for him, you might be more susceptible to vote for Donald Trump if you are very unsatisfied with Joe Biden. Same logic goes for pretty much all the rest of these states. I think Joe Biden would actually win all 3 of these states. Sorry, my cat just sorry about my cat, guys. Make a little cameo here, buddy. But anyway, let's head back to the actual video. So Donald Trump will win 312 electoral votes, actually gaining electoral votes from his victory in 2016, 312 to 226. So he'd flip Nevada very narrowly due to Hispanic trend to the right. I think that's the suburbs, and I kind of the same thing here. More rural Hispanic voters would trend to the right in Arizona, giving Donald Trump a win. I think that rural minorities would also trend to the right in Georgia. They'd shift enough for Donald Trump to win. Georgia would be very close, though. I could still see Biden squeezing out a victory, given how unpopular Donald Trump is in the state. Michigan and Pennsylvania. Michigan is already a state that Republicans can gain in. If Donald Trump just gains back more of the blue-collar voters that abandoned him in 2020, he could win. And in Pennsylvania, he'll likely make inroads in the suburbs, just enough to fill up the state. So there we have it. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like for more content like this. Check out my channel to see my other videos, and subscribe if you like what you see. Turn on the notification bell to be notified every time I upload a video. And thank you all for watching. Make sure to leave a comment, tell me what you thought of the prediction, and I'll see you all next time.